We're here in Port Adriano in southwest Mallorca, and I've been given the enviable task of testing one of the coolest looking boats on the water, the 1017 GT from Austria's Frauscher boats. So as we were heading out of port just a while ago, Matt, the Frauscher agent out here, told us that the best way to drive this boat is to think about it as a sports car, and that was just absolutely spot on, because it really is masses of fun to drive. If you just put the throttles to the stops, before you know it, you are flying, and you hit 30 knots in an instant, and a few more seconds you're at 45. But even when you're flying along at 45 knots, it's just such an easy boat to drive. It just feels so assured when you just make these long, lazy, arcing turns. It's just a lot of fun. But one of the best things when you're out here is the sound from the twin V8s in the engine room. Whilst it's really well insulated, they just give you the most pleasing thrum. You really could just drive at 45 knots all day. Mind you, it might be a bit expensive. And the setup at the helm just couldn't be better for the driving experience. The steering wheel's lovely and tactile. The throttle's just ideally positioned. Upright dials. But the view over the bow with the lovely curving teak. It's just fantastic. I don't want to stop. The 1017 GT fits very nicely into the stylish surrounds of this new Mallorcan marina. With its lovely grey gel coat, you can spec pretty much any colour you like, but we're big fans of the grey. And nothing's really allowed to upset the cool, clean, crisp lines of the boat, with no guardrails and cleats that pop up really nicely and then sink back down into the deck. That unfussy, clean feeling to the boat carries over into the deck spaces, which is pretty uncomplicated really. You've got two big sun pads to the rear, some nice bench seating here, and a navigator's and a driver's seat, but it's not all without practicality. There's some good storage beneath this, the step up to the sun pads here, and a large locker just beneath my feet for fenders and such. I think the best way to drive this boat is with the flip-up bolster, which both the navigators and driver's seats have. But when you are up here, unfortunately you don't get the protection from this achingly cool plexiglass windscreen. Beneath them you get these great sports car like upright gauges, and beneath them you got some lovely paired gauges here. In front of the navigator there's a useful cubby hole for odds and ends, and a bits tray just ahead of it. Now the one thing you don't really have in abundance on this boat, given its very cool day boat nature, is headroom down below, but you can't have everything. It's all very white and minimal down here, and one of the first things you'll notice is these hull stiffeners, which Frauscher have cleverly managed to incorporate into the design of the interior. Under each of these seats is some more storage. Under this one a big locker with access to the bow thruster. A lot of the storage down here is behind these very smart louvers, and the spaces themselves are actually very generous and nicely lined, and it's reassuring at sea that no catches will fly open. Behind me you've got a pretty smart but fairly Spartan galley. This version's just got the single fridge with, of course, the rosé, and there's a small sink, but you can also spec a second fridge or a wine chiller if you like, and also a hob. The engine hatch lifts up electronically via this switch at the helm, and it gives great access to the twin petrol V8s.